Hey, welcome to a new video. If you're a pet owner, you may be used to your dog or cat trying to gobble up something they shouldn't have. But over the years, animals have also swallowed some unusual things. In today's video, you'll be shocked to find out what strange things have been found in animals. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. The following video footage is quite controversial because it's not so easy to determine what kind of animal it is. Many people thought it was a new species, and as the camera gets closer, you realize that it's indeed something you've never seen before in your life. The bizarre thing is that in this photo, it looks like it has another unknown animal inside its body. When the photo was first shared on Reddit, many people left their thoughts on it. Some people said it looked a bit like a dragon, while others said it was a Philippine flying lemur. One of the two species of colugo is still alive. This animal can be found mainly in the tropical forests of Southeast Asia. Giant squid are marine animals that are not found too often because they actually live at great depths in the ocean. Now, giant squids are known to have battles with sperm whales, but when a fisherman named Huang from southern China caught a squid, he found something strange in its stomach. He was about to prepare the squid when he hit something metal-like about 20 centimeters long with his knife. Squid normally have a diet of shrimp and small fish, but this man found a bomb in the stomach of the squid, and how it got there is still a big mystery to this day. The man immediately contacted the police. They discovered that the object looked rusty, but was still fully functional. Although no one knows exactly how the bomb ended up in the squid's stomach, it's thought that it was shot by a warplane and entered the water. Danielle Halsey and her colleagues from the University of Delaware were on an excursion to tag sharks. Shark tagging is a process of attaching electronic tags or identification plates to shark fins. One day, they caught a large female sand tiger shark, but when they looked closely, they noticed that there was a small dogfish in its mouth. The dogfish was 91 centimeters long and was completely swallowed by the sand tiger shark. Danielle took a picture of the two sharks and the picture went viral on the internet. Shark tagging has helped researchers a lot over the years. In this way, they can study and document the behavior and movements of the sharks. It also helps scientists get information about their migration patterns, their life history, and the way they use their environment to survive. However, sharks do not have sensory receptors in their fins, which means that attaching these tags will not hurt them. After the sand tiger shark was tagged and measured, it was let back into the ocean. But what happened to the other dogfish was not completely clear. In March of 2017, a 25-year-old sea turtle was taken to the vet in Thailand. When it was checked, they found no less than 915 coins in his stomach. The locals called the turtle Sin, which means piggy bank. The coins were thrown into the pond by the locals, and without knowing it, the turtle ate all of them. In total, the coins weighed about 5 kilos, which over time became very damaging to her health. But fortunately, the turtle was helped in time and all the coins were safely removed. After a week, the turtle was recovered and she could already swim and eat normally. She was supposed to be put back in the pond, but other people thought she should stay in a zoo. Unfortunately, we couldn't find out what happened to the turtle, but let's hope it enjoys its life again. Whether out of boredom or stress, dogs often have a habit of exploring the world through their mouths, which usually ends up in accidentally swallowing whatever they're exploring. Even if it seems completely inedible to us, one of the craziest things a dog ever swallowed was a light bulb. Not just a piece, but a whole light bulb. And there's even an X-ray to prove it. The dog that swallowed the light bulb had to go to the vet quickly because of the obvious possibility that the glass in the bulb would break. But fortunately, the dog ended up fine and the light bulb was removed. Has your dog ever swallowed something strange? Let me know in those comments. Two men hunting alligators managed to catch one in Mississippi, and they were shocked to find something unusual in its stomach. It turned out that the alligator had swallowed a 6,000-year-old artifact. The men reported their findings to historians, and it turned out that the alligator had some kind of fish weight in it that was used by Native Americans some 5,000 or 6,000 years ago during the Archaic period. The two men quickly realized it was something important to show authorities. They also posted about their finding on Facebook, saying it was so cool not to post it. By the way, the alligator was huge, about 13 feet or 4 meters long, and weighed a whopping 750 pounds or 340 kilograms. How the artifact had ended up in the alligator's stomach, however, remains a mystery. A vet in Portland, Oregon had a very bizarre case. A 3-year-old Great Dane was taken by his owners to get checked because he was vomiting all the time. When the doctors inspected him by X-ray, they discovered that his stomach was full with a large amount of something inexplicable. The Great Dane had to be helped, and after 3 hours of surgery, they found out that the dog had a total of 43 socks in his stomach. According to the story, they kept pulling out one sock after the other, in all shapes and sizes. Her owners also thought it was very strange why she lost socks all the time, but they didn't think about it. The owners of the dog had entered her into an animal contest, which was called They Ate What?, in which they won $500. Has your dog ever eaten anything strange? Let me know in those comments. In 2017, off the coast of Caibo, Philippines, a fisherman named Arnold Constantino pulled a giant grouper fish weighing a whopping 200 kilograms out of the water. To his horror, he found an object inside the fish that shouldn't be there. A guard's badge. He and the locals were convinced that the grouper fish had swallowed the guard and that the security badge was all that was left of the man. Arnold feared that no one would buy the fish if it became known that the fish might have eaten someone. This species of fish usually grows to over a meter in length, and because they don't have many teeth, they often tend to swallow their prey whole. Of course, it could have also been that the guard had lost the badge at sea. However, no one knows why or how the badge ended up in the fish. A Nigerian village hunted a snake in November of 2016 after they suspected it would feed on one of their calves. After catching the snake, they looked inside the belly, and to their amazement, they found dozens of eggs. It also turned out that her stomach was swollen because she would be pregnant. As you can see, there's an abundance of pinkish eggs packed in 3 long rows. The villagers were relieved that these unborn snakes could no longer endanger their livestock. Others thought it was more of a blessing, because snake eggs are considered a delicacy in their culture. However, it was unclear what kind of snake it was, but given its size, they thought it might be an African rock python. This species can grow over 7 meters long and is one of the largest snake species in the world. These snakes usually feed on large animals, such as goats, antelopes, and even crocodiles. There are women who think fishing is just a boring hobby of their husbands, but it seems that Sandra will never complain after this moment. It was a normal fishing day for her husband Christopher, who suddenly caught a fish that turned out to be very precious. When the couple returned from fishing, Sandra began to prepare the fish for dinner, and suddenly realized that it contained a diamond ring. Christopher decided to take advantage of this opportunity and asked Sandra to marry him with the ring. The man confessed that he wanted to propose to her for a long time, but wasn't brave enough to pop the question. Now they're engaged thanks to this big catch. Sandra first thought that Christopher himself had put the ring in a fish, but the man explained that it was just a coincidence and that the fish had probably swallowed the ring itself. We previously talked about a diamond ring found in a fish, but this next topic has to do with fingers. Hans Galassi lost 4 fingers while he was wakeboarding, but 3 months later, he got his fingers back in an incredible way. As crazy as it sounds, the fingers were found in a trout, a salmon-like freshwater fish. When the find was turned over to the police, they took the fingerprints, and it indeed turned out to be Hans' fingers. They eventually tracked the man down, but Hans refused to take his fingers back. He joked that he knew his fingers had become fish food, and he didn't need them back. Would you have wanted your fingers back if this had happened to you? Let me know in those comments. A 5-month-old cat was taken by his owners to the vet in Northport, Florida, in the United States, after it didn't eat well. When the vet examined the cat, the X-ray showed an alien-like figure. Of course, it wasn't a real alien, but a figure whose owners recognized it immediately. It was a figure with which the cat played with a lot. Cats are curious by nature, so it could happen that it would eat things like threads and wool. These materials usually pass through their digestive tract without any problems, but in the case of the alien-like figure, it was just too big. The cat was eventually helped and they managed to get the figure out. Luckily, everything went well for the cat. Houdini is a Burmese python who lived with his owner Carrie Beznoska for more than 16 years. To keep the 4-meter-long snake's cage warm, Carl regularly put an electric blanket in it. But one day, he noticed something was wrong, as the blanket had disappeared. Houdini was an appropriate name for this snake, because the man soon realized that the snake had swallowed the blanket, so he rushed it to the vet, where the x-rays showed that the large electric blanket, along with its wiring, was actually inside the snake. Somehow Houdini must have accidentally swallowed the blanket, and somehow he was able to disconnect the electric cord. Had the blanket remained in his stomach, it would certainly have cost him his life. But thanks to a good vet and a 2-hour surgery, the snake's life was saved. On December 12, 1882, a 2.4-meter tall moonfish was discovered stranded in Sydney Harbor. The moonfish, also known as mola mola, is one of the heaviest bonefish in the world. It was taken to the Australian Museum and later sent to London in 1883 to be part of a fish exhibition. To their amazement, they found a piece of an Australian morning newspaper which stated that the fish was taken out of the sea in 1882. This was very bizarre, and some people believed it was proof of time travel. In addition to the newspaper, other things were found in his stomach, such as pieces of wicker chair and old floor parts. Snakes are known as one of the most dangerous top predators in the wild. You have, of course, the venomous snakes that you have to watch out for. This species of snake kills about 100,000 people a year. But another dangerous snake is the net python. These snakes are constrictors, which means they wriggle around their prey until they don't move. Their food usually includes wild dogs or wild boars. However, if they grow big enough and are hungry, they can even attack humans. So unfortunately, this has happened a number of times. The most famous story is of a 25-year-old man named Akbar Salabira, who was found inside a 7-meter-long python on the island of Sulawesi in Indonesia. So it's best to stay far away if you encounter such a giant snake. Sharks are almost always looking for food, but what researchers found in this shark's stomach was very strange. They had in fact found a polar bear in the stomach of a Greenland shark. Or at least that's what they thought had happened. Greenland sharks can grow up to 7 meters long and weigh over 400 kilograms. On the other hand, polar bears are known to be the most dangerous species of bear, and standing on their hind legs can grow up to 3 meters long, weighing almost 700 kilograms. In 2008, part of a polar bear's jaw was found inside the shark. Scientists are puzzled as how this could have happened. Did the shark really swallow a polar bear? What do you think? The 2,500-year-old Egyptian crocodile mummy belongs to the National Museum of Antiquities since 1828. When the crocodile was examined in the 90s, they found out that there was 2 other mummified crocodiles in the 3-meter-long crocodile. However, when they rechecked it using advanced 3D scans, they discovered that it contained 47 small brooding crocodiles that were individually wrapped next to the other crocodiles. Mummification of bodies originated in ancient Egypt and was also done on animals including cats, snakes, dogs, and crocodiles. According to researchers, the crocodile mummy would have been a sacrifice to the Egyptian crocodile god Sobek. The reason for their mummification is because the Egyptians believed that there is a life after death. This may explain why several crocodiles were found in the crocodile. There's a reason why they say keep small toys and details away from dogs and children. Indeed, in Thailand, a dog named Devil will swallow 32 rubber duckies as he ate a box of toys. Devil's owner realized something was wrong with her dog when the animal began gagging. She immediately took him to the vet, and he had to undergo surgery to have 32 rubber duckies removed from his stomach. But how did this incident actually happen? Well, the woman bought a box of bath ducks to decorate her pool, and she hadn't noticed the box was gone at some point. The dog managed to find the box and swallowed all the bath ducks. When the woman realized that almost all the ducklings were gone, she understood that maybe it was her dog who had eaten them. So it was a good lesson for her to properly store small toys and not leave them near her pets. Scientists found a new species in an unusual way, thanks to something unsavory: frog vomit. We know it doesn't sound delicious, but a new tropical ant was found inside a bright orange devil frog. This new tropical ant has extended mouth parts and was named Lenomyrmex helobderbli, named after German biologist Bert Holodobler. The problem is that the ant found in the frog wasn't alive, so the new known species could not be studied. Scientists now have a new mission, which is trying to find a live specimen. The ant found may look a little scary when viewed through a microscope. We're glad ants are super small, because if they had been big, they would have looked like real monsters. An interesting but weird fact is that the vomit of frogs is very useful for studying the health of different frogs and their living conditions. Sharks are perhaps one of the most misunderstood animals in the animal kingdom. People think that they are extremely deadly and ruthless, when in fact, the number of attacks by sharks is lower than the number of attacks by, say, hippos. However, that doesn't mean that sharks have not earned their infamous reputation to some degree. They are still top predators and marine animals, therefore stay away from them as much as possible. However, a French man named Guillaume Rondelet discovered the strangest thing ever found in a shark's stomach. He found a complete suit of armor. This is of course very strange, because could this mean that a shark had eaten a knight? Unfortunately, we'll never know. What we do know is that sharks can mistake surfers' boards for seals. But that still doesn't explain how the shark had swallowed an entire suit of armor. What do you think happened here? Emily rushed to the vet in Boston one day after hearing their 3-year-old bulldog stopped eating and was mostly nauseous. In the beginning, a veterinarian only prescribed medication, but later, when an x-ray was taken of the dog, they discovered that he had swallowed several soothers. Fortunately, this could be solved quite quickly, by the means of a medical scoop that could scoop out a total of 19 rubber soothers. Emily has 2 small children at home and found it strange that soothers were disappearing all the time. She was amazed that her dog was the culprit. As far as I've been able to find, the bulldog is fine now. It's common knowledge that cats get hairballs from time to time because they lick themselves so much. In 2012, an 8-year-old red-headed cat named Gemma was taken to the vet. Her owners thought she had swallowed something large. An x-ray revealed that it was a huge hairball, the biggest hairball the vets had ever seen. This giant hairball weighed an estimated 215 grams, or about the weight of a small hamster. The doctor who had performed the surgery said he had never encountered anything like this in his 40-year career. The hairball was so extremely large that it filled Gemma's entire stomach, preventing her from eating. A surgery was performed and the cat's life was eventually saved. A day later, she was back to full health, and her owners were instructed on how to care for her so this wouldn't happen again. On June 23, 1626, a woman selling a fish at a market in Cambridge, England, was filleting a cod when she saw something resembling a piece of cloth. She pulled it out and discovered that it was pages of a manuscript. That same day, Dr. Joseph Mede walked around the market and saw what happened at the woman's stall. He took the manuscript to Dr. Samuel Ward, who carefully cleaned it and discovered that it contained 3 works written by John Frith, a Protestant martyr imprisoned in a fish cellar in Oxford in 1533. The manuscript was then later published in 1627 with the title Vox Piscis, or the Book of Fish. How this eventually ended up in a cod remains a great mystery to this day. Some guys were hunting a crocodile and came across not one, but several turtles trapped in its stomach. Of course, this is a very strange discovery, and some people believe that they themselves had placed the turtles inside the crocodile, because when they took the turtles out, they were all still alive. Other people, however, believe this story and think that the crocodile had simply eaten the turtles several hours beforehand. Whichever side of the story is true, it's still a strange find. Let's hope they didn't make turtle soup out of it and just release the creatures back into the wild. Have you ever wondered how a shark's day goes? What do they do? What do they eat? And what do they see? Here we have a unique video filmed from the mouth of a shark. No one's ever done this before, and it gives a glimpse into the life of a shark. In this video, we can see how the shark lives, what it does, what it eats, and how razor sharp its teeth are. This is probably the first time you've ever seen anything like this. Of course, this new look at sharks gave an awful lot of new information. Getting the camera into the shark's mouth wasn't so easy either, but it did provide incredible video footage. Don't you agree? Jumbo the elephant that inspired the 1941 Disney film Dumbo was born in the 1860s, at the border of Ethiopia and Sudan. The Swahili tribesmen named him Jumbo after an indigenous word, Jumbi, meaning chief. At a young age, the elephant was sold to an Italian animal trader who took him in at the London Zoo. When Jumbo turned 21 years old, he started to get tantrums and eventually died at 24 years old. That's quite young for an African elephant, because in the wild, they can live to be 70 years old. According to several researchers, Jumbo suffered from toothache and affected his health. But the researcher Carl Ackley also discovered something else. In Jumbo's stomach, he found a police whistle, a bunch of keys, and 3,000 coins he ate. The next story is about a dog who swallowed another small detail. Somehow the dog had swallowed a figure of Homer Simpson, a character from the animated series The Simpsons. This was dangerous, but fortunately not crucial, and the dog was narrowly saved. Dixie, as the Dalmatian collie dog was called, accidentally swallowed the small plastic toy and became extremely sick. The dog's owner quickly noticed something was wrong with her, so she drove her to the clinic. The vets finally figured out what she had swallowed, and she needed surgery as soon as possible. Fortunately, Dixie's surgery went well, with no complications. However, the vets told the owner that if the toy stayed in her stomach longer, it could be fatal. It took 2 days for the dog to recover, and now she's safe and sound again. Did you know that whales produce ambergris, a hard waxy material that is actually whale excrement and is sometimes used in perfumes? As crazy as it sounds, ambergris has become an important material that captures scents in perfume and in medical industries. Even though this material is not really valuable in medicine, it's still widely used in perfumery. Originally, ambergris doesn't have the most pleasant scent, but when diluted, it becomes extremely pleasant and is highly sought after by perfume makers. But did you know that ambergris is also very valuable? In fact, it's very rare, and therefore expensive. 2 pounds or 1 kilogram of ambergris could fetch between $50,000 and $80,000. An ostrich is the largest and fastest walking bird in the world, and you can find them mainly in Africa and in the Middle East. An average male grows over 3 meters long. Usually their diet consists of seeds, grass, fruits, and insects. However, one ostrich appears to have an interesting diet. In 1930, a photographer named Frederick William Bond took a picture of the contents of whatever this ostrich had eaten. The list of items included 3 cotton gloves, 3 handkerchiefs, a piece of pencil, 4 half-cents, a mystery coin, part of a metal comb, a piece of wood, 2 meters of rope, a key from an alarm clock, and a part of a bicycle valve. This has to be one of the strangest things ever found in an animal, don't you think? Has your pet ever eaten something strange? Let me know in those comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we've made, click one on that screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.